Welcome to Midday Repartee. I am Rotten Glory. I am joined today by, of course, the world's sexiest ginger, as we all know, colorist of Xenotype, Scotsman. How are you doing?
Hail, brother. I'm good. Thank you.
Nice. Looks like we've got Sim popping in here, ready to
Mm.
start.
Well,
Welcome.
hello, brothers.
Hello.
Hail. Good to
Hey,
have you, sir.
I was awake, and my brain's lit, so I'm good. Here I am.
Let's do
My
it.
brain is lit.
And just to remind people, Sim's Blood Hunt is still rocking and rolling. If you haven't picked up that book yet, please do so.
Hell yeah, we passed 11K yesterday.
Beautiful, nice, dude.
Nice.
I like to hear that. Very good. And you're how long do you foresee being? You're in demand right now? Is that correct?
Yes, in the man. Yesterday I got the last lettering. Where we're going, or rereading the entire thing just to make sure everything's okay with the editor too. You know,
Nice. Yeah.
and
Well,
and after that he's starting the print file in the PDF. So
cool.
probably in 2 weeks we're gonna be printing. So.
Got it.
But I'm gonna be
Sweet.
over printing. That's why I'm leaving it open a bit more. Following
Oh,
advice from friends and fans.
yeah. There's no doubt that doing the overprint is so key. That's you're gonna sell those books, whether it's leaving it in demand or when you do the next
Yeah.
iteration of the book and character, you can offer those again to people who are just jumping in. You're gonna move them, you know.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm not gonna overprint is the variant cover. That's gonna be really like that's it. I'm printing just enough for this. Maybe just
Yep.
like a few issues, just in case something get lost or something or damage.
Yeah.
But I will the only one that I will overprint a bit is the colored cover. So like that for my next campaign, people can get it.
Yeah, I actually appreciate when the variant a variant cover is, it's got a cutoff point and it keeps it really special.
But during the first wave of the campaign, before I went in demand, you could buy it by itself, right?
Right.
You could choose between both covers. But as soon as we went in demand, that went away. The only way you can buy the variant cover it's if you buy the $50 pack, meaning you need to buy the original cover to get the variant.
Right. Cool, cool. Well, today's topic, maybe not the sexiest, but I think it's very, very important, and that is physical health in
Yep.
ComicsGate. Just anyone working in comics, really. But I think it's really relevant to ComicsGate because the nature of what ComicsGate is doing with YouTube and all the live streaming. Um, I think talking physical health is really important. And I'm going to ramble here for a second, but this is actually was inspired because yesterday I had an issue with my stomach,
Mm.
had a lot of discomfort, and it was actually going on during yesterday's show, and I did my best to just champion through it and make it. I don't think people noticed, but I was out of commission all day yesterday. I could do nothing but just try and get through it.
Hmm.
Um, and it's a wake up call because I'm sitting on my ass in front of a computer all day every day. I'm not getting outside time. I'm not really eating the best. I'm not getting the physical activity that I should be, and I don't ever want to feel that again. Whatever that was, I don't want it again. And it kind of like we should talk about this.
Did you
Hmm.
pass your best before date? Like 35?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's no fun getting old, and it's like you cannot treat your body carelessly.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do it ever. You should form those good habits early in life. But certainly, as an older person, I'm looking at I have less time to go than I've already done. It's like I got to start. I have to form some better
uh,
habits, or
On the
I'm going to be
backside of
in
the
real
mountain.
trouble.
yeah,
Yeah.
trust me, I know what you mean. I have diverticulosis and bit of crown. So
Mm.
sometimes you do have to you get those pains, those belly pains, those bloatiness. It
Hmm.
comes with age, also, and you do have to be careful. But there's also one thing I'd like to stress on this. It's
Hmm.
the physical health also goes with mental health, and with
Mm.
what we're going through, it's more mental that's affecting our body. Right now, we're getting pissed, we're getting stressed, we're getting this, we're getting anxiety, and that plays with our stomach. That plays with your freaking system, even your healing system. Everything's affected by your mindset. Mind over body.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh,
So
real
your
quick, I
mind-
want to say a what up to Rob Casey in the chat, Splendopia, the writer creator of Cyborg USA.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Anyway, sorry, Sim. Go
Great to
ahead.
have you here. Sorry, I got a little focused on kicking the show off, and I haven't engaged the chat. Hell, chat. Great to have you here. Mitchell is here.
We
Ted
got Ted.
Lehman.
Yep.
Absolutely. I'm sure.
Well, we just had
looking
we have a
forward-
successful ComicsGate creator not only on the panel but in the chat. I wanted to recognize him.
Absolutely. And Cyborg, is that still available as well?
Yep. It's in the man.
The man.
Okay, cool. Mitchell, if you're able, if you can go and find those links for Cyborg USA and Blood Hunt, that would be really appreciated. Don't worry about Xenotype. Nobody cares about that.
Spendopia's like, is this an intervention for Sim smoking?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a smoker too.
You convinced me to finish this cigar and go kayaking.
Right. Well, you convinced me of rolling one right now.
Mm.
Yeah, so Scotsman, what are your thoughts? I do want to point out, because you brought it to my attention
Notice
when
something
you popped on
different?
here, that there's something different about you today.
Notice something different?
Yes. You
More
bought a new
slender?
hat. You bought a new hat.
Nope. I'm actually standing right now. So I have a Veridesk standing desk. And
you're
I
one of-
have it on for the show.
Okay, so you're one of those now.
Oh, I've been one of those. So
So what are the benefits of that?
well, not to dox myself because I won't. But one of the things my company does, we produce dozens of different type of products. One of them being seating, so office seating, gaming chairs, things like that. And I've had to write under pen names. I've had to write articles on the benefits of standing and proper ergonomics while you're doing your normal day. So when you sell chairs, it's kind of hard to work that into the conversation of how sitting is actually physically killing you.
So you're telling me
So-
you can
Right.
you're telling us you can get us a really good deal for a really good seat for our butts.
Nope.
Ah, damn it.
But I'll just say this. There was a study done. It was published in Men's Health magazine by I think it was the University of Pennsylvania, I think is what it was. I forget. This was like 15 years ago or something like that. But basically what they found was they tested a bunch of people. They did a long study on this. When you physically seated, your good cholesterol plummets to almost nothing and your bad cholesterol spikes. And that's a change that happens in your blood from the physical act of bending at the waist and bending at the knees and sitting down. So physically sitting is damaging your heart. It's bad for your blood vessels. It is physically killing you. So it's a thing. This isn't made up. This is real peer-reviewed science that says sitting at all is bad for you. And so, I interviewed a chiropractor a while back, and we talked about various things on ergonomics and whatnot. And first of all, the word ergonomics, it comes from the root word ergon, which means work, right? Ergonomics is the study of work, or also defined as the amount of work it takes to complete a task. So when something is ergonomically sound, it's not necessarily specifically position, right? Ergonomic seating is like 90-degree elbows, specific angle that your eyes look at the monitor, what your angle of your feet are, slightly elevated. Those kind of things are ergonomic body positioning. But ergonomics being the study of how much work it takes to complete a task, you position things around you in your workspace to limit the amount of effort it takes to do those things. Well, that's counterproductive to motion, which a body's motion is key to its health, right? Your back actually replenishes itself by articulating. When your spine sits compressed for a long period of time, The helpful enzymes and oxygenated blood that gets to the tissue between the vertebrae is hindered. So articulating your spine, getting up, stretching your back, moving, flexing, twisting, and turning, that's actually all good for your spine, good for your back. So sitting for too long, not articulating your spine, not moving your body is actually really bad. So when interviewing this chiropractor, one of the things I talked about is, what is the best ergonomic position? And he said, the next one. That's his answer. So what does that mean? Right?
Move.
So if you're in this position, what's the best ergonomic position? Well, to move, get to the next position.
Right.
A body in motion is a healthy body. So, and that's a lot of physical therapists and people who talk about, athletic health and that kind of stuff. They all talk about that. Keep moving, keep moving. So I'm standing today.
I was going to make a joke. I thought it had to do with the fact that we're sitting on our exhaust pipe. And you know what happens when you block the exhaust of a car, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, it's such a problem. I mean, this is something, you look at someone like EVS, right, who we know has to be chained to a desk X number of hours to produce a comic book as an artist. But added to that is this ComicsGate model where people really expect and kind of want and need him to be live streaming. How many hours a week does he also live stream? Not just on his platform, but on other people's platforms. You add up that time he's spending drawing and live streaming, which is all sitting. And then you throw a little family time in there and sleeping, and it's like, where is the physical activity happening?
Yeah.
I think it becomes a real problem for comic skaters
specifically. I think it's one of the main reasons why we waited 1.5 years for our Cyberfall, because he had to, his YouTube presence, the show took dominance over it. He even expressed it, right? He had to to get back to the pages, right? But it does that to almost everybody, dude. As soon as you start in CG, it's the same thing as me. It's I had to really try and control the amount of streaming, my work, and remember that spend time with the kids.
Yeah,
because it really does get especially when you're somebody that's what is it again? When you work a lot, workaholic. You love your work.
Yeah.
So to you, it's your entertainment. It's the thing. So you just get into it. So you forget about everything else and just think about producing.
Yeah. I think if we don't start prioritizing our days a little better, I'm sitting way too much. I'm a graphic designer, so I may not be a comic book artist, but I'm still chained to a desk most of the time. And now I'm starting to engage more and more with live streaming. But if I don't prioritize getting outdoors, getting some physical activity, eating better, if I don't start making these priorities, I am absolutely killing myself day by day.
Oh, by the way, I'd like to tell you something. I've been hearing a lot of comments in the background DMs and Discord.
Mm-hmm.
People really like your show. Really like the way you host. So tip of the hat. Just wanted you to know.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I had no idea. I'm just trying to bring nice, calm, interesting conversation to the table.
That's what I
Hail J Money.
It's your way of hosting and the way that you're always calm and almost always soothing.
Hail J Money, how you doing?
J Money.
We're gonna try to keep you from going too deep down any crazy rabbit holes today. Because I don't know how I could pull those back into the health.
Yeah, GM needs to have his own show.
Yeah, he does. I think there's a call for that for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe don't do streams, but do those little 15 minutes of knowledge. 15 minutes of history with J Money.
You could be the anti-sketch. You actually use facts and shit.
Oh, shots fired. Oh my. So do you have any thoughts on this, J Money? Just off from the get-go?
So there's also a couple other studies as well. When you sit down for at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes at a time, your heart rate actually drops as well. And your cardio or your veins actually shrink in size because of the less blood that's being produced. So eat right, sleep right, and eat right, sleep right, and be active. And then on top of that, you have your muscle tightness in your hips and in your lower back and everything.
Yep.
That comes from the gluing of the myofascial tissue that separates your muscles. So what happens is the sac that's around your muscles actually will glue together because of scar tissue or just being lazy. And and I don't know if anyone's ever like I got a lacrosse ball. And then I also
That's a lacrosse ball. I thought they were China balls.
I also got a
Woo, that would
I've
take some
heard of
effort.
one of these. This is a foam roller.
Sweet.
And
Ooh, nice.
yeah, and so you gotta release that muscle scar tissue so you don't have pains in your lower hip and your lower back and everything from sitting down so much. Back in the day, I used to sell beds, and that's just a sitting down job until a customer comes in, and we would get articles from the area supervisors all the time. Yeah, that's good too, Scotsman.
Whoa.
But they would make us read articles.
The fuck is that?
That's one of the machines that beats your muscle and releases.
Dude, you showed something that looks like China balls. That looks like freaking yeah.
Yeah. So this is how do I do it? I fucking hate this camera. But so it's two lacrosse balls, but they're the rubber lacrosse balls, and it's good for your spine, or you can literally sit down on your ass cheek on it. It hurts like hell.
You're welcome for that. I
Huh?
posed for the mold for those balls, by the way.
Yeah. And these right here, once the pain goes away, you release that muscle. And so when the pain's still there, you need to stay on it. And then the day after, you should have DOMS, which is delayed onset muscle syndrome. And that if you tear yourself up enough and the next day you hurt, that means you did a good job on that muscle. But yeah, man, be active, eat right, sleep right. Every adult should always sleep 6 to 8 hours a day, always. So.
Now, does that sleep, is it only of the greatest value if it's in one time, or if you sleep 4 and 4, does that work?
So, go ahead.
From what I was told, you can sleep in 2 shots. You can sleep it off like a 6 hour, 2 hours. It's not really 4-4. You do need to sleep that 6 hour once in a while.
So it's important to get the 6 hour chunk.
Yeah, especially depending on the age.
Well, you have sleeping cycles, and depending on who you're talking to or which doctor you're talking to, they'll say that you have 3 to 4 cycles per sleeping cycle. Mm-hmm. And what it is you have a certain chemical that's produced in your brain when you sleep that releases, and that chemical actually will deteriorate the plaque that's built inside of your brain from your daily activity. And what happens is that's why dementia and all these other problems are coming out, because people have lived their whole life with only sleeping 2 or 3 hours a day, and they don't get that chemical release, and it's only released when you're asleep, and it's only released when you're in REM sleep, which is stage before the last stage of sleep.
This is like you need to pass 3 hours sleep. That's when it starts kicking in, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, what it is your body. So each sleep cycle, depending on your person, is 3 to 4 hours. And so you have to sleep for at least 3 to 4 hours to get deep sleep. And the deep sleep is where the repair happens. That's especially if you work out a lot or if you do a lot of physical activity, that soreness that you get, other than the lactic acid, so that's what's released when the muscles are torn, is that lactic acid. But that whole flush only happens in your deepest of sleep. And it's and that's why you get so hot. And that's why alcoholics or people who drink a lot get so freaking hot when they sleep, because your liver is trying to break down all that alcohol at the same time that your body is trying to heal itself. So you're literally just
your liver is going into high function and producing glutathione. Glutathione binds itself to all those toxins to get it out of you.
And it's important to remember that it also works the other way around, meaning don't oversleep. It's not good.
Yeah, because then if you're sleeping too much and your lower back hurts because you're sleeping too much, get up.
Yeah.
Right. I thought this was. I know that Dan Frege had talked about cutting sugar out. just
Mhm.
completely no sugar. And I went and found an image of him from I think it's over a year ago, and then one that's maybe just a couple weeks old. And I feel like you can see. I mean, I see a pretty big difference.
It's
The
not
one
just
on the
sugar.
one on the left is I think before he cut out sugar,
Yeah.
and the one
He
on the
also,
right, and that's just cutting out sugar, people.
no, it was not just cutting out sugar. He did mention that he did reduce his portions too. Like
Yeah,
you don't
right.
pick out like a motherfucker. You don't need to eat 3 plates of 3 burgers or something.
Yeah,
Reduce
right.
your portions because your mind. You have you have that little side of a dog where if you put too much food, you're gonna eat till you die. Well, we're a bit smarter than that. We won't eat till we die, but we will eat till we're fucking full and we can't eat anymore, and that's not good. No, we need.
Right.
That's one of the things I was teaching the boys here. It's you need to make the difference between being satisfied and being full. Being full doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that has to do with too, because I've had stomach problems in my life. A lot of that has to do with consuming your food too quickly, and
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm,
not just the act of masticating, not just the act of chewing, right? But physically taking more time to consume the food in front of you, your brain receives signals from your stomach at a very slow rate. So the
Yep.
faster you eat, you're way fuller before your brain starts getting, hey, I'm done. I'm kind of full down here.
That's how
So,
you get the food coma because
well,
your
take
system can go.
take the time to consume your food at a good rate. Don't eat too fast because if you eat too quickly, you can give yourself a hiatal hernia as well because your stomach gets too full and you actually herniate the esophageal hiatus at the bottom of the esophagus, that little muscle that closes off the top of your stomach.
Yeah,
If you
Heather,
eat
to
too
call
quick, too fast, you blow that out. And then once that's mechanically either torn or herniated, you got to get surgery to fix that. I mean, some herniations, mild herniations, will fix themselves over time through just allowing the body to get back to normal. But if you stretch that area, you got to they actually physically have to go in and stitch that tighter. So it's not just the act of what you eat, when you eat it, or how much you eat. It's the rate in which you eat too. So
yeah.
give your body time for your stomach to tell your brain, I'm full. you know
Yeah. And
yeah.
I think it isn't, it's already, just everything that's been said already. It's kind of, it's probably just obvious and common sense, but of course, all of this is interconnected. You
Yeah.
shouldn't just be taking one thing to an extreme and saying, well, that'll be enough to do it. Just find the balance. It's about eating correctly. It's about
Yeah.
getting some physical activity in your life. That's going to help feed into you sleeping better at night because your body's actually tired. You know, uh, it has to be a balance of things.
Yeah.
I think if you go too extreme on, like, you choose that one thing, I'm going to do this to the absolute insane level, that can
Yeah.
probably be just as harmful as not doing anything.
Well, two things too. When you talk about sleeping, I had probably a 3-hour conversation with the marketing director for Serta. Serta is the bed manufacturer, and the technology that's put into bedding itself, right? The way that they layer their memory foam and other stuff. Memory foam is actually really bad. It's not a great thing because memory foam actually traps heat, and heat the hotter you are when you sleep, the less deeper you will sleep, the more uncomfortable you will be. So one of the reasons why they put that fiber polyfiber at the top, because it wicks away moisture from your body, right? Moisture traps heat, and whenever you sleep, you actually off gas like pints of water, way more water than you could ever imagine. And so having your bedding absorb part of that heat and get it away from your body, not just your comforter, but your actual mattress will pull in moisture and then it'll breathe it out during the day. That helps you sleep better. So sleeping whenever you have a cooler environment, you want your body to be, you don't want to be freezing right while you sleep, but sleeping cooler, you will actually sleep deeper and more, you'll get a better restful sleep.
True.
So that's important.
So let me tell you about memory foam beds, because I used to sell them for years and years and years.
Right.
So like my bed, I have a Beauty Rest hybrid, and it's a 15 or 16 or 17 inch mattress.
Yeah.
But it's half springs and half memory foam.
Mhm.
and the top layer of my bed is actually diamonds. So embedded into the top gel, or excuse me, the top layer is a gel memory foam, and the layer underneath it is the memory foam with diamonds.
Right.
And so what it is if you have a memory foam bed, you have to have your AC set on at least 70 or 69 or lower.
Yep.
Because the like my bed, man, I'll show you.
I'm friends with the marketing director of Beta Rest as well.
Yeah, I used to, man, they used to give us free food. They used to do all that stuff. And so my room should be clean enough to show y'all. Oh, wait. Okay, so.
He's like, on second thought.
Yeah,
I know where he's going with this. So
he's waiting for all the babes to get off the bed.
So I have an adjustable bed. And so my bed actually moves. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so that helps. And then so that's how, can you see it? Can't really see it, but on the side of the bed, there's giant chunks that are cut out in the side molding, because my bed has a 3-inch side molding, and they have little diamonds because it's called the black diamond bed. Yeah. But they have little diamonds that are cut out on the side that help exchange the heat. And then people also tell you to use a mattress protector, which is good, but like Scott Man was just saying, mattress protectors actually will hold in more heat than the bed itself, because it has a membrane underneath the mattress protector. And then so it's like big fat people can't really use them because the bed will actually
swallow them.
Well, no, the water will stay on your body as you sleep. And so the human body, depending on your body size, can leak up to a gallon of water a night into your bed.
Damn, I did not know.
Pints and pints of water come off you when you sleep.
Yeah, if you're a big man, you're sweating out a gallon of water. And then that's why every morning when you wake up, especially people who do bodybuilding or are Olympic weightlifters or baseball players, first thing you should do is just chug as much water as you can in the morning to get that water back in your joints.
And they say hot water too. Yeah, I've heard like people say that cold water is good because it causes your body to warm it up and you burn calories. But also drinking not hot water, but above room temperature, actual warm water activates your intestines and your digestive tract, gets it all primed. So
and your
I have no data on that. It's just what I've heard.
See,
and so your metabolism.
Like an idiot, I wake up every day and drink a boatload of coffee, and
there's water in there.
There's water. I mean, there's some water in there. I don't know what impact the coffee, that process has on the water. Is it still useful, or is
coffee
it just completely
is a
ruined?
dehydrant? So coffee will actually dehydrate.
Diuretic.
Yeah. And
it's awful. I'm doing all the wrong things all the time, and most people know they're doing all the wrong things all the time, but until they get hit in the face.
Yep.
Like I did yesterday with something I never want to go through again, we tend not to do anything. But, I guess I wanted to do this stream to maybe get people thinking about it. And, like, let's not let ourselves get to a point where it's an actual problem that can't be easily solved.
I'll tell you something that I do with coffee.
It's something I had to do, too, because, dude, I was pushing myself way too fucking hard last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was
working. You still do.
I still do, but I'm more careful about it. Like I do take some time off. I would not take a day off before.
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't go like, okay, I'm out for 10 hours. Like once a week, right?
Right.
I would just ride it because I was in a mentality where, you need to beat the iron when it's hot, right? Mm-hmm. You need to give it all you got until,
Yeah.
You your place. So, but the thing is, you get lost into it, and the point that I want to get is when you don't rest enough, you don't eat properly enough, you get overworked, and you're not productive. It becomes counterproductive. Meaning, you want to work, and then you're gonna end up spending like a full day looking at that fucking screen, just telling yourself, "I need to work." Well, you should probably just spend that day sleeping and playing a video game.
Sorry, J Money, I think I cut you off a little bit. I think you had more to say on, I think it was coffee? Not sure. I interrupted you
I
like an asshole.
Scotsman. So if you lose a lot of water and then you drink coffee, your joints need water, and especially like your spine with the bursa sacs in between each spine, and you I'll say it again: eat right, sleep right, and be active. And especially when you're outside and you're sweating, that's actually very, very good for your joints.
Right.
To be a sweaty person is extremely healthy. And
I'm that way, and I've never. Of course, it's one of those things that you get self-conscious about. If you have, as a kid, it was a thing. It's like nobody really likes someone who's sweaty. All it kind of like it rubs people the wrong way, but I think it is healthier if your body's doing that. It probably is your system is efficient, right? I mean,
when I was working out, I went to the doctors and I'm like, dude, I'm sweating way too much. My trainer used to, you always have the towel, but my trainer and the doctor said this exact same thing. Goes, you think it's a bad thing because people are not used, but the thing is, it's a fucking good thing because you're evacuating, you're regenerating. Right. It's you're all the bad is coming out. So that means you're actually getting your work out of it.
Well, your skin is an organ as well, and it actually needs to do processes and stuff too. Mm-hmm. It needs to clean itself and to produce new oils and feed the bacteria living on it. All the things that keep you healthy. Your body is a host for life as much as the planet is. So, and those bacteria are functioning in your gut, everywhere on your dermis, everywhere in your body. You have other things that are doing stuff to help you live that we don't really pay attention to. And, just as far as like you, Rod, like having a stomach problem, people chug antacids like crazy, right? Whenever they get upset stomach, they chug antacids. You throw the balance off. Your stomach is by design, your stomach and small intestine are by design supposed to be highly acidic because the bacteria that live in there that help you break down your food need that environment to live. And when you chug antacids, you actually kill a lot of them. And you can screw up the ecosystem in your stomach for literally the rest of your life.
And it's one of the reasons why I drank a lot of green tea for a while, because it's an antioxidant.
Well, I would say the antioxidant's important, but one thing in particular, I completely stopped taking antacids. I never do it. Never, ever do I eat anything that's got an antacid in it. I use sauerkraut. And sauerkraut is acidic. I talked to a gastroenterologist about this, and he's like, you do what? He wanted to put me on Nexium. Well, the research that I did was that cabbage is high in vitamin K. Vitamin K is good for your stomach lining. Also sauerkraut has a healthy bacteria. So if you have a really upset stomach, try this. Believe me, try it. If it doesn't work for you, I'll be surprised you're the first person. If you ever eat something that gives you an upset stomach, eat some sauerkraut right after. A couple spoonfuls, just chug it down. Don't really chew it very much. Just get it into your stomach. You will notice instantly the acid will go away.
That's
the uncomfort, the discomfort will go away.
I wish I had that tip yesterday.
Sorry, brother.
Because I did exactly what you're saying. I overdosed on, because it was just anything to try and get it to ease off, to go away. I couldn't do anything all day because it was just ever.
Well, there's a lot of untruths and rumors about your stomachs and indigestion, and it said don't eat that spicy stuff, it'll ruin your stomach lining. That is not true.
Nope.
That is not true, not even close to remotely true. Habaneros and capsaicin is actually the chemical inside of peppers that make it taste spicy, right? That is a nerve response. It hyperstimulates the nerves that it touches and reports to your brain as heat. It's not burning anything. Your body's designed to react to it, right? Capsaicin is actually a vascular dilator. It's actually good for your heart to eat spicy foods. You want to know, like in India, right? India, in Vietnam, in Thailand, what do you think their rates of heart disease is?
And it's
almost nothing.
And it's also great for your immune system.
And but they eat highly fatty foods. They eat the shittiest part of the animal.
Scotsman said capsaicin, which you can buy in powdered form for $7, $8, $9 for a big container. But you can also take cinnamon. Cinnamon helps a lot too. But really put hot sauce on everything you eat. Now, unless you have an ulcer from stress
Stress
something
is the
like
only
that.
right.
Yeah, 'cause if you look on the antacid tablets or the TUM tablets, you're really only supposed to take them sporadically, and it says even on the container, if you're taking this longer than a week or two, go see a doctor.
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that my brother did because he was having trouble when he would grab his coffee in the morning. He would have like acid, reflux shit. So what he started doing is put cinnamon on it.
Mm.
So he puts some cinnamon in his coffee, like 1 scoop or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, cinnamon helps.
Yeah.
I used to get ridiculous reflux in the middle of the night. I'd wake up gasping. I'd have stuff in my lungs and I'd be coughing. I couldn't breathe. I had a really bad scare one time where I thought I was going to drown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started just working into my nightly regimen. When I go to bed, right before I go to bed, I eat a couple spoonfuls of sauerkraut. I never have reflux ever, not anymore at all.
That is so awesome, man. And we have a really good farmers market here, and I can't recommend if any of you have access to farmers markets, please get as much of your food from that source rather than the grocery store. I mean, it's such a great resource.
Yeah.
But there's a stand that sells really incredible sauerkraut stuff. I'm gonna take that tip to heart.
Try it out.
And another thing too, if you do have acid reflux, right, like you're saying, I don't know how much money you have or whatever, but buy an adjustable base for your bed. Like
way out of my league.
Well, if you have a queen, you can get a generic one. Like I have a Leggett and Platt. I don't got a Tempur-Pedic adjustable base. I don't have the Serta adjustable bases, which are extremely overpriced, and they're made by Leggett and Platt. So my Leggett and Platt, I got at cost because once a year at Sleepy/Mattress Firm, the employees got to buy a bed or an accessory for at cost, and so I got so my king is one piece, but you can get 2 twins, which is one king. Yeah. But so it's 2 bases, and they can be separate or they can be together. So that was around $2,000 some odd, but I got it for cost for $450 and $450.
You made your own Craftmatic adjustable.
Yeah, and
Nice.
if you have a queen size bed, it's just one adjustable base. If you can finagle certain salesmen enough to where you can kind of wipe out their commission, but they still want the sell. They still want the sale.
Like during a pandemic?
They'll sell you an adjustable base for lower than the MSRP. And you may have to pay a little bit of money, but you'll never have a box spring again. You'll never have a bed frame because it fits right inside of if you have like a headboard and a footboard, it fits right inside of it. But cool. So the adjustable base, if you sleep with it 10 to 15 degrees up, and this is mainly for heavier set people, but if you sleep with it 10 to 15 degrees up and you're a back sleeper, you're not only will your breathing be better because you don't have the weight on your body as you sleep, but you'll it will actually lower your acid reflux during sleep. Now, if you sleep on your side or your stomach, you're going to have acid reflux already if you're a stressor.
And
well, partially. If you sleep on your left side, right, the physical mechanics of the way your stomach snakes around, you sleep on your left side, the acid can't make it up into the esophageal hiatus as easily. It still can, but less.
That's why they tell women when they're pregnant to sleep on their left side as well. Yeah. And because of the organs that are being smushed.
Compressed, yeah.
And I would like to add to all this bed talk, right? That, pillows are really important too. Get yourself a good fucking pillow.
Oh,
right.
A waifu pillow.
That's right.
Yeah.
We need that Heather Swain. Yeah, we need that Heather Swain pillow for sure.
The memory foam pillows are real good because they're hyperallergenic. So dander and dirt have a harder time.
And they're great for people that have migraines, because of your neck. So they take the shape of your neck. So, you'll have one of those migraines. You can lay on it and, you feel a lot better.
Yeah.
I have one of those purple pillows. You seen purple? It's made out of a polymer. Heavy as shit, but fuck, is it comfortable. I love it. It's heavy as shit. It's like 15 pounds, dude. This fucker's heavy.
The best pillows are heavy. That's what you're talking about.
Now that's a pillow fight I want to see right there.
Fuck yeah. You'll slap the shit out of somebody, take them off their feet. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about you were earlier. I think Scotsman, you were talking about you can mess up the natural balance in your stomach.
Yeah.
By maybe overindulging in acids and things, but also can't if you do the fasting thing. Now, doesn't when you fast, doesn't it deplete? Doesn't it kind of cause that problem as well if you fast and don't replenish the
No.
No.
fasting
I
doesn't have
never.
an impact on it?
No.
So if you're active, you never have to fast. So the
Right.
way you stay healthy is the calories in versus calories out. So say, for example, if you eat 3,000 calories every day of the week, but you're only expending 2,000 worth, by the end of the week, you have 7,000 extra calories in your
Caloric
body.
deficit.
Yeah. So calories in versus calorie out. You always want to have
Right.
a deficit, or you want to be right on the money. And if you are active and you're not a gluttonous eater, you don't have to pull a Cecil, because your regular. So in your stomach, like Scott was saying, you have more bacteria in your stomach than there are stars in the universe. And so, like, taking a lot of antacids will actually clog your kidneys. Like, too much powdered stuff will actually clog your kidneys. And you just had to be mindful, because remember, we're hunter gatherers. And so we're still hunter gatherers, even though we have shoes and air conditioner now. And it wasn't until modern day times where they said you need to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, when actually
Right.
your human body needs to eat throughout the day
Yep.
smaller portions to
Mm.
recover the
Yeah, that's
expended
something I
energy
wanted
that
to
you
bring
eat.
up for sure.
Yeah,
So
so
you would
peanuts,
everyone
walnuts, things
Yeah.
like
Well,
that.
the main idea behind it is the fact that if you keep it like like especially that people don't eat at regular hours all the time, right? The main trick is to keep it as a regular hour, because if you do that and you eat a lot, your body's code goes into I need to save fat all the time,
Yeah.
right? And if you fast irregularly, if you actually do some fasting, your system can. That, there's also a chance that your system will fall into that I need to save fat, right? But the thing that they're doing in training, like I think the name's not coming, but the big black guy there that did all those commercial and he's funny as hell. He played in the Expendable.
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews, thank you.
Mm.
He talked about it once, and it's something that they made me apply when I used to work out. Is you get up in the morning, you eat little, like so it could be just a big shake with like 6 eggs. That's what I used to take every morning, like a big shake, and at around like lunchtime. But you snack throughout the day. You have your lunch. You're more hungry. You have a meal, but you always have a little something to snack on, right? In case you feel this or you feel that, and you have one supper. But your more important meal is the dinner. That's the middle one. So when you go like this and you give it a regular thing in the morning, your system gets into a mode of like, I don't need to save fat anymor.
So when
Like,
you say dinner, Sim, sorry, when you say dinner, are you speaking Canadian in that you mean lunch?
Yeah, lunch. Sorry.
Okay. I had a feeling.
I think we kind of we just wanted to clarify.
That's why I went the middle. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
so you remember, your metabolism doesn't turn on. Now it's always on, but your metabolism doesn't turn on until you actually eat something. So there's some people. I mean, you can drink coffee or have a milkshake, or a soy shake or whatever those things are called, and that will turn your metabolism on. But then you don't have any solids in your stomach, so your body's really not digesting much. And so there's some people, most of the United States society, they don't eat until lunch. So they don't turn their metabolism on until lunchtime. And so they'll go 12 or 13, and that's a form of fasting. So there's people like, there's online like the Rhino, or the online coach, and there's people who eat very little or nothing at all until lunchtime. And
I'm certainly one of those people. Like I don't eat from the morning until dinner time, and like I just live on Monster and cigarettes in the time in between.
Yeah, I don't know that Kami Marcus the bet you like come on and talk about health. I'm not sure that was a great idea.
Everybody knows that communists have the best diet and it of one loaf of bread a week or whatever.
Right.
And then
Portion
cataract.
control.
You know, they say they don't eat breakfast, but you know you can have like orange or something, like a little snack, but you don't eat a meal until lunch, right? And then you have your other meal at supper, and that somehow says that your system gets into I'm not into a safety zone anymore. I can burn fat, so in the morning while you're being active, it burns the fat. That after that you're just nutrition, right? So
Yeah.
it's the reasoning behind it.
Well, it's just like fiber. Every human being who takes fiber will take a different amount. So that's why doctors, well, if you have a smart doctor anyway, that's why doctors say they'll start you out on a small amount of fiber, and if that's not enough, they'll increase it. The same principle applies. And that's another thing we haven't talked about is fiber intake. Because fiber also helps the belly tremendously and your bowel movements. But fiber is extremely protein, fiber, and carbs. Carbs are energy. You got to remember that Atkins guy who started the no carb thing, he actually died because he ran out of energy and had a heart attack. So carbs are good, especially if you're active. But like we were saying,
what would be the best source of fiber? Would you say?
One of the things that I would like to add to before we forget, fibers are good, but it's probiotics.
Yeah,
like yogurts and stuff like that, because that rebuilds your intestinal flora.
Yeah, yogurt is fantastic.
Yeah,
but grains, actual grains like oatmeal, or even just taking powdered. Now you got to be careful when you buy this stuff because 9 times out of 10 it's cheap bullshit that'll have nothing in it and like 1% of something. So just make sure if you're buying fiber that it's mainly fiber, and then you regulate it as you feel necessary. So if you're taking too many, or especially if you take a lot of fiber and you are taking iron supplements, be careful, bro. You're gonna be shitting out bricks. And
what would you say to the suggestion? Because this is how I deal with it. Like, I just let my cravings decide, and it. Like, I think that subconsciously my body says to me, "You want an orange juice because you need the things that are in the orange juice in it." Like,
yes.
That could work for some people, but some people crave, all the wrong things. I mean, I don't know that that's a.
But that's technically what we mean by snacking, throughout the day till lunchtime. It's technically, if you have a craving for orange juice, you can have an orange juice. You can eat an orange. You can have a.
Because like we say it about pregnant women, and we say, "Oh, you're craving that thing because that's a thing that you're needing." Like, it seems obvious to me that would translate across.
Well, but also keep in mind too that when women are pregnant, their minds are literally going fucking haywire.
Yeah.
Because they're producing a fuck ton of chemicals and enzymes and things in their brain are way out of whack. Women can get gestational diabetes. They can have mental health issues. They can get they get overly emotional at small things because their body is producing more of everything.
How do they change when they're pregnant?
What's that?
I said, how do they change when they're pregnant? It's like an anti-women joke, and it.
I got it. Well, I mean, see, but also women's feet will grow when they're pregnant. My wife was a surrogate like 5 times for other families, right? She went through all kinds of things. Gestational diabetes a couple times. She had preeclampsia the last time. She's banned from having children now. I won't allow it. Well, she's older now, but anyway. But her feet grew on one of them. I mean, your body goes through havoc when you're pregnant. So there's a lot of shit that happens. So, you can't really use pregnant women as the standard as to like following their cravings because there's a lot of things that are.
Yeah. And to be fair, I've seen articles where they have ridiculous cravings and they want to eat sandpaper and shit. Like, I don't know how good that is for you.
Yeah, I want pizza with orange slices of peanut butter on it. No, no.
So in terms of getting physical activity, is there a better time of the day? Like if someone wants to start forming better habits,
everybody, brother,
morning
different for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Like,
you
is
just
it
got to be active. Like so, I'll give you an example of someone to follow who is he's the one of the largest bodybuilders you ever see in your life, but he's also a PhD professor, and his name is Stan Efferding, Efferding, Stan Efferding,
okay?
and the guy is a literal health genius. He's a fucking genius, and an example for him, he's almost 300 something pounds, but he only eats 2 boiled eggs and 2 slices of cheese for breakfast. And that's all he eats to start his metabolism in the morning. And then, but to get back to what you were saying specifically, Rod, to be active is to literally just be active. You can be active whenever you want. And, but you got to do it at least 3 to 7 hours a week. And if you're not active for at least 3 hours a week, you're really not doing enough. And
Yeah.
if you're a person who's a little bit on the heavier side, just start with walking up and down hills. Because you don't. I don't remember if Stan, are you in or Rod, are you in America?
Mm-hmm.
So you
Yes.
remember in the health class they used to have those videos that they would show us about heart disease and all that. Did they ever show those?
Yeah.
And they
Probably,
used the
yeah.
guy who played tennis, and the
Right.
guy who played tennis was like, well, I play tennis once a week, but he was overweight, so it's actually counterproductive for him to play tennis because he'll actually probably develop heart disease or diabetes or something and end up having a heart attack from actually exercising once a week. So
Right.
if you got to start out minimally, do it, bro. Like just, and then
Yeah.
your metabolism and once you start feeling hungry all the time, you're doing the right thing. But you don't want to fall back and then just start overeating, because then you're going back to square
Yeah.
one.
Well,
So-
Jay Money, you
Yeah.
make a really good point, though. See, you referenced a health genius who eats 2 eggs and a piece of cheese. Well, his body is finely tuned to receive that type of treatment. So, and then the point you made about just do something, just move, right? Because you got the guy who plays tennis who's overweight, who's going to have a heart attack from the physical activity because his body's not in tune with something that physical, maybe. That's why, like, they'll have people who are really, really overweight, who are really in bad shape. They'll get on one of those mini trampolines and just bounce.
Yeah.
Just bounce.
I like the idea of this egg and cheese man. So that's his breakfast.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Starting something.
he follows that up by chasing a chicken around and milking a
Rocky.
cow.
He's
And
rocking.
then he has a piece of chicken and a piece of beef for dinner. Goes to bed on it. Like,
Yeah, it's a hunter.
Savage. I like it. Yeah.
When I was younger and I was training for the strongman training, I had it was like I wasn't left out no eating till lunchtime, right? But you wake up with one shake of 6 eggs, 1 banana, and some milk, and that's it. And
Damn,
dude,
that's a lot of
I was-
eggs.
So you have
You're
things,
loading.
things
you
that are
need it.
called pre-workout. The pre-workout
Yeah.
chemicals that
Yeah.
so those are good for you. But back in the day, before pre-workout existed,
You're talking
people
about
like
nitric oxide?
I'll go get the container in a second. But the back in the day, people, for their giddy up in the morning, because most bodybuilders and IFBB pros and actual weightlifters, because like we were just talking about Stan Efferding, the reason why he eats the 2 eggs and the cheese is because there's no carbs in that. And Stan, because he knows himself well enough, he actually he is a dietary expert, so he knows when to add carbs to his day, and
And
he only
there is-
adds carbs after his exercise.
what
But
I'm hearing is the perfect breakfast is a double egg and cheese muffin from McDonald's. Just have those every day, and you'll be totally fine.
Those
No,
aren't
with no bun.
eggs.
With no bun.
A cheese omelet, you're good.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
I mean, obviously, the whole fast food thing. Just don't. Even I'm smart enough not to engage that shit.
yeah.
So
Every once in a while.
being in quarantine, I've noticed my health going fucking downhill. So I sent my wife out, because I was busy, to get an Apple Watch, because I not going to wear a fucking Fitbit because Edwin wears one. But this thing right here, filling the rings, right? It's attached to your wrist. It takes your heart rate. It monitors you. But yeah, there's some privacy concerns, because fucking Apple's, whatever. But this thing right here, this thing reminds me constantly. After I'm sitting for 2 hours or so, it goes bzz, and I look at it. It goes, "Hey, you've been sitting for a couple hours. Why don't you stand up for 30 seconds?" And I go, "Oh, I stand up."
Nice.
I kind of just shimmy back and forth for 30 seconds, drink some water, sit back down, go back to work, and it tells me, it's like, "Congrats, you did it, nice." And then it like an hour later, it'll go, "Hey, why don't you take a moment and breathe for a second? Focus on this little flower," and it pulses in and out and in and out. It gets me to breathe for 30 seconds or so. And then it says, "You did it." And then it gives me a little badge, a little achievement unlocked, right? And then as I'm walking around the house, it monitors my steps. And you got 3 rings to fill. You've got a red one on the outside, which is movement. Get up, move around. The middle one the next one is the green one. That's exercise. When your heart rate gets to a certain level, it goes, "Hey, I think you're exercising. Do you want to track this?" And you hit yes, and it'll track your movement. And then the last one is standing. So it tells you to stand up, and it tracks you how many you want to stand up at least 12 times a day. So it keeps track of what you do, and it sends you little motivations and notifications. And if you want to get control of maybe being more conscious of moving and not sitting still so much, I recommend it.
That's what my smoking habit does all that for me already. It makes me get up, go outside, and have a cigarette. I'm focused on my breathing. Done.
It's internal. You've internalized it.
Smoking as well, like it does suppress hunger in it. Like I find that that you can smoke a cigarette and it'll put your hunger off for a bit.
That way.
It also suppresses oxygen to all your cells and shit,
And then, so in cigarettes, just to bring that up real quick, and a lot of manufacturers put sugar in their cigarettes. And when you burn sugar with a flame hot enough, the sugar will actually produce 3 carcinogens. And they'll go right into your lungs.
Nice.
And so,
nice.
Yeah, so the byproduct of burnt sugar is actually 3 carcinogenic chemicals that are produced. But
I mean, if you are going to,
if you just want to do walks, there's a video that Stan Efferding did back like 3, 4, 5 years ago. It's called 10-minute walks, and bro, I'm telling you, listen to Stan, especially the Rhino rants. He doesn't really rant, but he's so goddamn articulate that'll just like you just want to watch all of his Rhino rants.
I found him. I typed him in and found his website, so I will be looking.
Well, just make sure you got the right one, because Stan Chang, he does 10-minute walks, but that's Chinese food.
Is that real?
I think definitely the walk. I'm definitely gonna do the walking thing. I do, like a lot of people. I bought an exercise. It's a rowing machine. I thought, man, if I had a rowing machine in my house that I could do anytime, I would do the shit out of that. I've used it like 6 times, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
What's the opposite?
It's not that I just need to do it,
Yeah, I've been very neglectful lately. My brother, and even my older kids, like, "Dad, you need to get back in shape," because I used to work out often, right? And the trick was as simple as I had 2 dumbbells, right, and I had a chin-up bar. And
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and 1 punching bag. I still have it. It's in like the type of like the one you use in martial art, like in boxing. It's like you can raise it up. It's like it has a foothold. You could put sand or water in it.
I had one of those. Yeah.
So that's all I used to use. Yeah. So I used to do push-ups, sit-ups, commando push-ups. I used to do all that stuff, but I had to slack back after my operation, right? And for the last 2 years, I don't do that much exercise. I've been like working my ass off, doing everything, and it's something I'm getting myself into. We've been talking about eating this, that, but the exercise part, I need to get back into it. And I would like to stress again, people don't forget mental health. Okay, you need the mental thing also affects your body, right? There's a reason why you can talk somebody into feeling sick. So, the more you're stressed, this, that, so,
it's all interconnected. It all is. And You know, if you're not getting the exercise either, you're gonna feel tired all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's so all interconnected. And I guess the reason I wanted to do this show is, you know, for my own benefit. I learned a lot today, you guys. You guys are, you know, Scotsman, Jay Money as well. Very, very knowledgeable. But I think I wanted to do this because, you know, I want the people, the creators in ComicsGate, the people making books that I love. I want them to be able to do this for as long as possible. And if they're not taking care of themselves,
Can you hear all that
there's
background noise?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. That is,
yeah, I'm not sure.
Am I still?
Should-
So because it's 8.
Yeah.
Boom.
One skate clap for the NHS and it and that's like people in the area just clapping fucking loud.
I just want creators in ComicsGate to be healthy and be able to do what they do for as long as possible.
Yeah.
And if we don't start looking out for each other a little bit and encouraging some better habits with the, you know, it doesn't take much. Yeah, we want to be entertaining, and you know, you don't want to tell other grown men and women what to do, but just a reminder every now and then, hey, let's, you know, don't forget to take care of yourself. We want you to be here to entertain us for a long time to come, you know.
I made a lot of friends in ComicsGate. And I want you fuckers around. Period.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
We definitely don't want anyone to die before they deliver on their campaigns, and it.
I'd be one of the first one of
Very
saying
bad.
thanks for making that show, Rod.
So here I have two things that'll get you pumped up. All right, so
What's the promo code so I can order it?
I
By
got
the way,
4 things. All right, so this is called C4. Everyone should know what C4 is. Can y'all see it good in the
You-
light?
you
Yeah,
breach
let me,
you breach walls with that shit when you want to
Yeah.
clear.
So this is C4. It comes in many flavors, and this is a pre-workout supplement. And you can actually just take this, scoop it in your mouth, and then take some water and swish your mouth and swallow. You don't want to do that with everything, but you can do that with C4. Now, the one thing about C4 is don't take ibuprofen. Don't take ibuprofen. You'll overwork your kidneys and you actually get kidney pain. And you only want to take 1 scoop. It'll make you tingle. It'll make your face tingle, but that means everything's working in there. Because this also has creatine in it. And then I also have actual creatine pills. Now, this one hasn't been opened yet because this is the one that we just bought. You can start at the Walmart. You can buy this shit from Walmart, and it works. And so creatine. So if you're having a hard time just getting a little bit of self-drive, you can take some C4, and the C4 it heightens you.
Okay.
And then after you work out, you know, I was talking about lactic acid and all that stuff. And so once you start going catabolic after a workout, once you've actually tore muscles up and you start producing that lactic acid inside of the muscle sacs, which is from the actual tear of the muscle, the glutamine, this is a generic glutamine. This one's from an actual vitamin shop, but I also have a glutamine powder. And so the powder's pretty good. But there's sometimes when you work out, you kind of want to take a nap right away because you beat your ass so much, you just want to go and take a nap. The glutamine will actually kind of take that want to take a nap right after a workout. And then what it is if you one of the main problems people have when they work out when they're done is they become stationary. You actually want to move around. That's why they have after workout walk downs or cool downs, whatever you want to call them. A cool down is what we used to use, and the cool down will actually help disperse some of that lactic acid into your body and out. I mean, it's still going to be in your system. You're still going to hurt the next day when you wake up. But if you've ever taken if you've ever done something really intense and then you go and take a nap afterwards and you wake up an hour or 2 later from your nap and you're super duper sore, that's because you literally have pools of lactic acid inside of the sacs, inside of the membrane of the muscle. But never take ibuprofen with workout medicines, I guess is what we can call them, because you want to kind of calm down with the powder. You don't want to over powder yourself, because
Then you
Because
look
your
like a
kidney-
geisha.
Yeah, your kidneys will start to struggle because there's people you can get addicted to this shit. You really can. But the C4 is literally the best pre-workout powder on the planet. And they actually got stuff that's a little bit more powerful than this too, which is C4 Plus or something like that. But if you do that, 3 times a week for an hour or two, bro, you always feel hungry or you always feel like restless. That means your body is acting the way it should. And then and if you got a really, really sweaty head, I suggest taking some vitamin D12. Because vitamin D, a lot of people don't realize how low their vitamin count is. And vitamin D is actually a steroid. Vitamin D should not actually be classified as a vitamin. It's actually one of the most important natural steroids that you can have for the human body.
And spend time in the sun.
Yeah, exactly. And then
That's a big one. I mean, we didn't really talk about that, but
your body will produce it naturally if you spend time in the sun. Just don't,
gotta
don't
get
burn
out
yourself.
in some sunlight, and
vitamin
I
B12.
don't know about other people, but I don't get out in the sun nearly enough.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, Razman, these weren't all bought at Walmart, sir.
What is the communist position on this, Commie Mark?
I was just gonna interject that women who wear hijabs and niqabs and stuff and are completely covered from head to toe, they often have vitamin D deficiencies, and it's a real issue in the Islamic community. Just throw that in.
All right, then.
Probably because of them burkas and the other thing.
Yeah,
Same with
same thing.
beekeepers as well. Beekeepers have the same problem.
I think we've done a fairly decent job today. What I want to give a little hint as to what at least one of the topics might be tomorrow. It could be a little incendiary. I'm not sure, but EVS did make a tweet. I think it was early today.
Oh yeah.
And it was about moving forward. Receiving promotion on my show will require having fulfilled at least one campaign to backers successfully. I can't ever ask my audience to invest in their hard-earned money in a comic by someone without a proven track record of keeping promises. I think this is a really
I just noticed the hashtag
really
there.
important. What's that?
The Black Dragon hashtag.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's a type of dildo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely.
That's how Rogue
That's
got the
definitely.
name.
It is. I googled it earlier just to double check that I was correct.
Yeah, there could be a really strong metaphor in there for sure. So I don't know. I think let people know. We'd love to have you for this. Everybody in the chat, and let people know about that. I think it's going to be could get intense because I think there's a lot of varying viewpoints on that kind of thing. Some people might view it as gatekeeping. Some people might view it as a really positive step forward in how to avoid. At least minimize some of the stuff that we've had to deal with in ComicsGate. So that should be a fun topic tomorrow. Scotsman, anything you want to close us out with?
Well, yeah. Move more. Pay attention to yourself. To Sim's point, remember overcommitment because you want to try to herd all the chickens, right? I want to be a part of every project that I can. That's not always the best thing. Keep an eye on yourself. Keep an eye on those around you because we can all be assets and influential to each other.
Yep.
Drink a lot of water, get the right amount of sleep. Basically everything I don't do. So try to do it. I'm standing right now. I got my Apple Watch on. I'm trying not to be a hypocrite at the moment. So
very good. Well, in about another minute or so, you can just drop all those pretenses and get back to it, man.
Watch off a minute.
Pick that cake up off the desk,
Sim, how about
I'll tell you
you?
about copy endless tomorrow.
What?
Got any closing words for us, Sim?
Yeah, it's important. Thank you for doing this show and getting me talking about this because I've been slacking off a bit too much. I need to get more active because I'm sitting all the fucking time. And
me too.
I think it's an important point that we have to give our all, but not die doing it.
Exactly. Nobody wants that's not beneficial to anyone. Got to find that balance in what
Yeah.
with our work, with our physical bodies, with our families, that time management. It's all so important. And if you do it right, you're going to be able to produce and create for a lot longer.
Yep.
That's what we want.
Tiny changes at a time.
And add,
Yeah.
go hurry up, back up Bloodhound before it closes.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Jay Money, any closing thoughts? I think you kind of laid it on us already, but
Well, I got two real short ones. The more you talk about it, the more it's on the forefront of your brain. And then if shit, Sam, I'll send you a message. I don't know if we talk in DMs. I don't even know. But just don't be the only one that's trying to be active. And if you're an artist that's alone, have someone like Scotsman. I think Sam, you got real long hair, right? I think I've seen you on stream.
I don't have real long hair. Nope.
All right. Well, maybe I haven't seen you. But anyway, just be active. And if you're the only one, try and find someone else who wants to be active with you. And number two, General Flynn, his federal case was just dropped during this live stream. So hell yeah, General Flynn.
Wow.
Hell yeah, dude. That's big news right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks for dropping that. That's cool.
The Russians winning again.
I mean, Mark, I know that I think your book is still in demand. If you
Yeah,
want to
it is,
drop a little word about that, and I don't think there's much you can teach us about being healthy, but
No, I finished another page today. I've only got like 3 pages to go, something like that. I'm sending it on Sunday to the printer. Like, even if I have to stay awake between now and then, and it's going to be finished, because I need that hard deadline to be motivated to do it. What I did want to say was, if everyone on the panel and in the chat look at the time currently, now add 2 hours to that. And then tomorrow, that's what time Russian Troll Factory's on in it. So make sure you're there, to watch. It's going to be a sick episode.
Brilliant promotion right there. Now I know.
Nicely done. Yeah, I like it. Well, this was I think we should, every once in a while, maybe we'll just tap into this topic again. I think it's really important. Just keep people in that mindset, state of mind. Let's take care of each other and ourselves. And I think that's it, everybody. Hell chat, thanks for being here, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Hell chat.
Peace out.